Dave, why did you want to implement Intellispark this fall at Hutchinson High School?
Professionally, I've just always sought to find a better way to try to wrap around services for students. I felt like so often people in the process are being left out or not thought of as far as being players in a student's life when we're dealing with their academic success. One teacher could create an email that they send off to another staff member that another person never knows even occurred, and it would be important information for them to be a part of. So I think the very first thing I'd have to say is to improve communication within our staff around student needs and their learning. I look at education sometimes as silos. There's these different silos where teachers may go into their classroom, and it might be a department, or it might be one floor of a school to another. It might be one educational level, the middle school to the high school, where we lose information, we lose communication ability. And I was really searching for something that could help to try to tie all those communications together, where once something is discovered, it's there for all to see in the future, and it's not lost from one grading period to another or one teacher transition to another. The second thing is I really was looking for something that would help to improve access to student information, not only just from the context of what teachers are discussing or strategies they're trying to do, but also just information as far as their testing scores, anything that you can think of that would help in the learning process that we need to be able to transport from one educational setting to another, one classroom to another. Whether that's through information about surveys that find out about student strengths and that type of thing. So I was trying to find something that could package that. And then lastly, I was really trying to find a way to improve our problem-solving team. It seemed like our problem-solving team in our school was kind of stuck. We kept dealing with the same students and not really having great solutions, and we were missing out on some of the kids who maybe were on that teetering from a tier 1 to a tier 2 or a tier 2 to a tier 3, and trying to improve that process so that we were in step with things going on in a student's life as they were needing more supports or needing less, and being able to act in real time to help students in their needs.
Dave, as you've implemented Intellispark, what is serving as a game changer in how your students are being supported?
Well, I'll give you an example. Just today, I had a teacher who came up who's an advisor for a student who, through this, we've just been in the distant learning model, and we'll be returning to hybrid. And the teacher came in as the advisor and just was checking in with me about the student again. And as we were finishing up a conversation, he said, I'm going to go down and I'm going to put a high five into that student, just encouraging them as we come back to school, and my excitement for being able to work with them on a more regular basis in his classroom. That's just so powerful. It's not a word that I would have heard a teacher say in the past, that they were going to do something of that nature. The biggest thing is everybody's on the same page. As you look at each student, the team is there. We just went through a transition from one trimester to another, and the system rolled over the teachers from the first trimester into the second. Those teachers now have access to all things that the first trimester teachers were working on with that student, and have all the information to hit the ground running versus start the class. And hopefully in a month you get to know the kid a little bit better, and then have some strategies to help them if they've been a struggler. They're all right there, ready to go. The other thing that's really cool about Intellispark is the weekly digests. I just was looking at mine this morning, and you look at it and go, oh my gosh, this is so cool. You look at what you were accomplished the week before and the things that you dealt with, and it's just so powerful to see that. It's also a reminder, oh, that's right, I got to follow up with this or that situation. So it's just really cool that teachers get a week-to-week digest of their students to kind of remind them of where their students are at, what supports are there, things that we need to be doing moving forward to help support that student in their academic success. And the other thing I really have seen is, since we started using Intellispark, the staff actually has more of a feeling of team. They feel like they're a part of a team. They feel like they're working with a team of teachers, with the student, to try to help them to be as successful as possible. And that's in the high school setting. You'd expect that to be more in an elementary setting, but there's still that feeling is starting to become more of something I feel within our staff as we look at things through the Intellispark software.
You began working with Intellispark in August of 2020. How have you been able to so quickly have a successful rollout of Intellispark with your school leaders, teachers, counselors, and staff?
Started out with a staff presentation that was about 25 minutes, just letting people see kind of contextually the things that we're dealing with our students as far as communication and access information and dealing with problem solving team issues and then what Intellispark could do for our students. And the first thing really was we walked away with is I told them everybody's going to receive an email that says Pulse in front of it. And that's just letting you know that this is information that's about a certain student in your school, in your classroom, and that you would want to look at this and check it out and see what's going on. I mean, we're inundated with emails over and over again. I could get 10 emails from the same person, but I don't know that's relating to somebody in my classroom unless I see that Pulse. Now I know that I got to check out what's going on in that email. So I told the staff, you're going to get emails. And the one thing we left them with after that first 25-minute session was to encourage them to start giving high fives to students. That was the only thing we showed them how to do. And then after a few weeks, we started showing them what it would be like to put in a note. As teachers would email me information, I would put it into a note and they'd get back what I had just put in there for them. So they kind of see how simple it was to communicate. They could see how quickly they were communicating with all their staff members on that team. Usually when you create an email, you have to find the different 4 or 5 people that are in that child's team. Now you just go in, hit the note, boom, and it goes to all the people that need to go. So you don't have to look up emails or see who that student has for a teacher and that type of thing. And then a couple of weeks after we did the notes, I started looking at the concept of the flags and showing that to teachers as far as putting flags in that would send emails to certain staff members. A couple of weeks ago, I had a student who was having computer issues at home, and I have a flag for computer issues. So I sent it out, and it went to 2 staff members. One is our computer tech person, the other one is our assistant principal, so that they would know that this was going on, and so that the person that's in the tech department could reach out to the student. And I got an email back because he was never in the meeting, and he said, I will reach out to the student, but what's this Intellispark stuff? And I said, that's just the way I'm letting you know that you need to check in with the kid. And he's like, oh, okay, cool. But I didn't have to look up everybody's email. I just made the note, the flag, sent it, and the people that needed to get that information got it.
Dave, what advice would you give to a current member school just beginning to implement Intellispark, or a school considering joining us?
I just started with a school intern, a counseling school intern this January. And one of the first things we did is help the students start to look at some of the things we use in our school to help with student information. And when I showed her Intellispark, her words were, oh my gosh, this is amazing. When I talked with my building principal, she used the words like, I love Intellispark. And it's once you start utilizing Intellispark, it's the use is just going to grow quickly. People start to see how easy it is to interface with the product. They see how quickly they get information, how up to date. I see people saying things like, I saw this in Spark. They use that as Spark is the nickname. I'll need to put that into Spark. I learned that strategy working with a student from another teacher in Spark. And it's cool that now students will be able to say to their teachers, hey, thank you for that high five. And those are all things that are coming from Intellispark. It's a way of communicating and keeping people on the same page on an hourly basis, really.